What's happening, Brighton? The short answer is a lot. The long answer is this podcast. What's Up, Brighton is a show dedicated to the community we all love.
Hosted by Roger Burnett, Eric Meldrum, and Coach Mark Howell, this podcast will feature news, issues, and discussions impacting Livingston County and celebrate the people who make our slice of Michigan go and grow. This is What's Up, Brighton.
All right, man. Well, let's get into it. What's up, Brighton? Episode 40.
4-0, baby.
4-0, Adam said in the background. 4-0.
40.
Come on. Let's go.
Let's go.
This has been fun. So today we want to get into a couple topics, and there was a really controversial post on the page. But before we get to that,
There was a suit. Yeah, it was a good
before we get to that,
one.
how has the fundraiser been going for Pizza Royale? Let's kind of look behind the scenes a little bit, because we're both both sporting.
And nobody
Pizza Royale here,
and no pre-show memo about wear your t-shirt even. It's just a thing.
You don't need to tell me.
It's
I'm
just a
like,
thing.
this is why this show works. Like, we're just in lockstep.
That's
we
right.
We already know.
Even when Coach is not around because he's mad about ducks or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
But
What the duck?
what the duck?
What the duck?
Dude, fundraisers are a unique breed. They take a little courage. I wasn't entirely sure what I signed myself up for when I said I was going to do that. You were there when I uttered the fateful words.
I will do this.
We're going to do it. And we are going to find out very soon. It is just now the end of the month of October. So votes and pizzas sold and dollars donated are all still being tabulated. So we don't yet know what the sum total of what we accomplished will provide in donation to Fund a Life. That will remain to be seen, and we hope to turn it into a giant party so that if you'd like to come find out in person when we announce it, we're going to give you a shot at that. And then I think we'll probably live stream that one too.
Mm-hmm.
So that people have a chance to be involved in it if they want to know.
That'd be cool.
At all with what was the end of the story.
Yeah, we'll
when
probably
it comes
live
to
streaming like a week after this episode airs.
Probably.
Or the week of,
Yeah.
I think.
Somewhere right around there.
Yeah.
So, and there might be some surprises waiting in addition to what the pizzerias are going to tell us about what they were capable of doing. So as far as its success, to me, I think I will feel some semblance of what I would call success right then, when however many people are in the room, we have the people who are going to be the recipient of whatever our work was able to create, and everyone can hopefully use that as a memorable experience, because we're not done. This is just the beginning of that.
This is the inaugural.
Sure, we intend this to be annual.
Yeah.
So you can't do the second annual if you don't start.
Right.
And to me, I would say,
Gotta start right here.
yep.
And then it can grow.
Yeah.
And then it gets up to here.
Well, and we also took on more than your average bear. We didn't just do a single location, no in-person ticketed event fundraiser. We had to overachieve.
Well, we don't do anything half-assed.
Correct.
Come on.
So we had to overachieve. So I think it's the culmination of all the pieces, the vote, and that there's a competition, and that there's multiple locations, and that there's a social media component to this, and that we had a willing and very worthy recipient. To me, those are all the elements when you might be considering that you would love to do a fundraiser for something that you care about. What I'm hoping we're doing, in addition to everything else, is we're creating a way for other people to be able to replicate something. Even if how many pizzerias are there? Like, you could just rip this thing off 100%, go find the pizzerias you want to do it with and the nonprofit you want to do it for, and have at it. Like, I'd love for that to be the case. And that was a big part of what we set out to do when we originally intended to do this. And then, it's really a lot about similarly what our show is all about, which is this idea of like, we can come on and be entertaining and hopefully bring some information to people. But what we really want to do is knock the wall down between everybody in the community so that they all feel like they're a bigger part of a whole.
Yep.
And I think that was the original intent for all of this. And I think that's been a giant success.
It's been great. you know, and so I want to ask, like, did you think it would be that much work throwing a fundraiser of this style?
Yes.
When you did. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So you're like, okay, I know what I'm signing up for. Like, I know it's going to be a lot of work.
You know, what's funny is you and I are clearly the examples of, like, you are an operator and I am a visionary in a lot of ways. And so your expectation is like, tell me how we're going to do this. And the visionary is like, we'll figure it out.
There were so many meetings where I just like, I'm casting the vision.
Yeah.
And I'm like, who's doing that?
Yeah.
When? Who's? Okay, got it. Let's go.
And I think it was in that give and take that it's hard to be sure, especially when you're working with someone on a fundraiser for the first time, to know if I tell you I got it, you have to have faith that I have it.
Yeah, there's a lot of moving parts.
And we needed to have faith in each other.
Event planning.
Sure.
Working with people for the first time in a different capacity.
Yeah.
Other than like, hey, you want to go grab a beer?
Sure.
Like, okay, if you don't show up, I'm like, okay, you just got busy. Right. But if you don't do something in a fundraiser, it's like, hey, what's going on? And now this falls back on me.
Right. Well, and then the second thing that I intended to have be the case when we set out to do this was the thing that really happened at Captain's, which was exactly what I had hoped, was there was a room full of people who had really never been to Captain's before.
Never been to Captain's. And quite frankly, this was not my circle, you know, and I talked to a lot of them, and a lot of them that didn't even know about Fund Life.
Right.
So that was a huge success. And I wanted to mention that. I'm glad you brought that up, because I wanted to say, you know, in the silver lining out of all this, like, the goal of Pizza Royale was to get more people exposed to this organization that normally wouldn't have been, right? From a kind of a different angle. It's like, yeah, let's go eat some pizza, right? And by the way, did you know about this pizza place? Oh, and did you know about this fundraiser? No, I didn't. I didn't know about either of them. Oh, now you do.
And to a person, those attendees, so effusive. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for introducing us to Captain's. Thank you for telling this story about Fund Life. We had no idea.
Yeah.
And I believe we accomplished the task of, there are one or two people from that group of people who attended who are still talking to me about, like, how can we get more involved in what we might be able to contribute to the cause. Yeah. And that's the real win.
That's it.
Right? That's the real win.
That's the exposure. Get people excited about it, because at the end of the day, anybody who donates to a fundraiser or feels compelled to get involved is really just an ambassador.
Yep.
Right. Of that fundraiser.
100%. Well, and we made what is quite possibly the easiest to understand, most fun thing you could do to raise money. Eat pizza and get your friends together. I don't know how hard that could be for, it's like everything is done. It's just throw a pizza party and invite your friends and raise some money for a cause. And next thing you know, maybe we have another $1 million in funds, which is what Fund Life's stated intention is to raise $1 million additional dollars in a very short time frame. Right. And we're working diligently now. But you asked me the question, did I know the amount of work I was signing up for? The original event, as we had designed it versus what we did, I'm very grateful that we were willing to be flexible and change what it was we were going to try to accomplish, because I'm not sure we could have done it, given what we had originally, the grand vision that we originally had for what we want to accomplish. And there are actually, you and I both know, very grand plans for this in the future,
year
right?
3, year 4, year 5.
Sure.
You know, and the goal is like, we'll just level it up. And you had said something, I think you even said it on one of the previous episodes, like, listen, at the end of the day, if this turns into like 5 or 6 buddies in my garage eating pizza, and I get $50 from them, you know, to donate to Fund Life, like, it's still a success.
Heck yeah.
Right. So what we were able to accomplish with actually getting 4 establishments to participate, right? Go out and promote and sell some pizzas.
Yep.
And then also have 2 in-person events where we exposed more people to that particular fundraiser that normally wouldn't have crossed paths with it. Like,
winning.
It's winning. Right?
Winning.
And yeah, we feel good about it. Is there things that we can improve? For sure.
100%.
100%. Right?
Yeah.
I think some of these things are, you just learn, you iterate, see what works, see what didn't work, just like anything.
Yeah.
Right. We're going to get rid of the things that didn't work, and we're going to replace those with new ideas. And then we'll test those, see, hey, did that have a significant impact, and keep moving.
At the end of the day, when you're done, you either have to say, that was miserable, I hated it, I would never want to do it again, or I'm really tired and I can't wait to do it again.
Yeah.
And it's usually nowhere in between, right? And I told you, I told Mark, I told Chavela when we were maybe 21 days in, I was like, on November 2nd, we start planning for next year.
Mm-hmm.
Like, as far as I'm concerned, once we spoke it into existence, it just is.
That's tomorrow.
Right? It just is. That's my point. Like,
Yeah.
It just is. It's a part of what we do. Now, here's what I would tell you. I now recognize, after being more deliberate about recording my activities on a daily, weekly, monthly basis, I have to change my October, how I handle October. Because if I'm going to keep doing this and doing it the way I want to, I need to divest myself of other things that consume my time.
Sure.
To dedicate what's necessary to do this the way we would like to have it done.
Right.
And now that it went well,
yeah,
I'm even more motivated to just pour more resources into doing it next year, because the public was like, I want to eat some pizza, I want to raise some money. And then when we got the cause in front of them, they were suitably moved, as we hoped.
Mm-hmm.
So nothing like success in the test to make a guy like me be like, okay, I want to do this as many places as I possibly can.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, and we can amplify that. You know, we have some ideas that I think we can talk about here, and introducing a little bit more of the social district.
Yeah.
As part of that.
100%. Except there's a problem with that, because everyone is so PO'd about downtown right now that maybe nobody would ever, we're just going to be a mass boycott of downtown Brighton.
It could be a mass boycott.
Because
are you talking about the Post?
Yeah, because we're the new mini Birmingham.
Mini Birmingham. I saw that comment.
I'm like, have you been to Birmingham? First of all,
height restrictions.
Like, how, the outrage, the feigned outrage. But do you wanna clue everybody in, kind of?
Well, I will say, we started talking about this in the beginning of the episode. The picture, it's a great picture.
It's a great picture.
I mean, it's kind of dark, but you could have a photographer touch that up.
Yeah.
Edit the clouds are cool. But the controversy is like, let me actually read it. I understand progress, but the scale in downtown is so off. Okay. And from this angle, and Adam, you can put the picture up on the episode here.
Actually, I think what we should do is have the actual post come up,
embed it there,
so that people can be reading along with us.
But it's kind of funny, because when you look at it from this angle, the building they're talking about is actually not taller than BCAT. Right? Like, the pine tree is taller than that.
Yeah, they're like, but the stairwell is the same,
and it's like
maybe a little bit.
I would say it's a story taller than like Chalmichi's, because Chalmichi's has the facade that goes up where the signage is.
Yes.
So there's like a peak there. That's nothing. It's just rooftop, right? But it's elevated a little bit more. This one's 3 stories.
Yep.
The bank building's 3 stories, and the scale's off. And the ironic thing about this is, I asked you earlier, have you read the City of Brighton comprehensive outlook and the plan? And you're like, no, I haven't. But
it's dated 2017, but no, I have not read it.
Yeah, and it's probably going to change. But one of the summaries of that was that the scale of construction is going to change in downtown Brighton. Like,
period.
It's in there.
Dot.
And I love,
end of sentence.
I loved Ken Lachard's comment in there. It was like, hey, if you don't like it, there's a planning meeting coming up on November 6th.
Yeah.
Right. Coming up here shortly. Hope to see you all there. Right. Because you got a lot to say about downtown. Like,
enjoy the 200-page document that you should probably consume before you show up.
253 pages.
There you go.
All right. Read it all. But this has been in the works for so long, and there's more projects. Like, spoiler alert, guys, there's more projects that are planned. And if you're really concerned about it, get over to the city council meetings, get over to
meetings.
The planning meetings. Those discussions are happening, whether you like it or not. Okay. Just know, like, this stuff's happening. And these are These are not like 1-year projects. Like they're talking about what's going to happen 5 years from now.
Correct.
Right? There's already rezoning going on. There's already buildings and things that are in the works that have been approved. Are you or a loved one struggling with the effects of a stroke? The Oxford Center in Brighton, Michigan offers a cutting-edge alternative stroke treatment that can help stroke victims even years after having a stroke. Our approach combines traditional medicine with evidence-based alternative therapies, including hyperbaric oxygen therapy. This advanced treatment involves breathing pure oxygen in a specialized environment that can stimulate the growth of new blood vessels and promote healing in the brain. We also offer physical therapy and speech therapy programs to help patients regain their strength, coordination, and ability to communicate. Contact the Oxford Center today at 248-486-3636 or visit the website at oxfordcenter.com to learn more about the alternative stroke treatment options, including hyperbaric oxygen therapy. That's 248-486-3636 or visit oxfordcenter.com. But yeah, that post got a lot of engagement. I mean, 277 comments, 231 likes. Not that matters, but
What's the reach? Can you see it on there?
I can probably see it.
I bet you it's
don't
like
have
40,000. It just got so much activity.
24.
Okay.
Well, 25.
But again, I would say if there was a way for us to pull posts out that cover this topic and to analyze the participants in those pieces of content, I'm wondering how much overlap we would see.
Mm-hmm.
I'm reasonably certain there's a lot of overlap.
Yeah.
And if we were to apply a certain set of demographic criteria to that same population, it skews older, it skews traditional Brighton, it skews, I want to go back to the days of that one YouTube video where you drive down Grand River and, it's how it used to be.
Yep.
I love nostalgia. I'm of the generation that's supposed to serve as the translator between the people who want it to be the way it used to be and the people who are excited for the future. And God, we make it hard. We make it hard. And it has so
Really
much
hard.
to do with what you're talking about. It's like these platforms create an opportunity for people to, in a flashpoint, just say whatever is on their mind. And there's no consequence. There's no... When you drop that pebble in a pond, to the person who dropped the pebble, that's all it was. It's everybody else who feels that ripple and has an opinion about the fact that the original pebble got dropped in the pond. No one's dropping boulders in the pond about this topic. It's just everybody saying basically the exact same thing.
Well,
here's what was different, though.
Here's a prime example of that.
Good, yes.
When the Gilmore Girls event was
Yeah,
happening,
yes.
Star Hollows, there was one specific comment that stood out to me. And somebody was like irate. All right. They're like, this was the worst thing for Brighton ever. I couldn't get around downtown. I couldn't drive through downtown. And I'm like, okay, so we're mad. Like, let's put this into perspective. All right. Really take a step back and think about what that person's upset about. They couldn't drive through a downtown area that they normally drive through, right, on a daily basis for one day.
For like 5 hours, maybe?
For one day. I'll just block out the whole day. I'll make it very generous.
Okay.
Block out the whole day from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m., midnight, whatever. I don't care.
The misery that was.
Right, the misery. Okay. There's no other way around it. You can't get around Brighton unless you drive through Main Street.
No overpass.
But he was mad for one day that he couldn't get around. Meanwhile, the benefit of all of that was all of our boutiques, all of our restaurants, all of the stores that typically we'll be looking at the holiday season and saying, okay, I got to start planning my inventory. I got to start planning what that's going to look like for events, what that's going to look like for purchasing.
Yep.
Now they just got a huge influx of cash.
Yep.
Huge influx of cash, right? Which stimulated the downtown area, stimulated the businesses.
Probably going to put more product on shelves for the holiday purchasing season, right?
Yeah. And that may have been the point where a business was considering maybe closing.
Yeah.
Where they like, okay, we got another 6 months worth of runway here. Let's really try to make some changes and really do some different things in the marketing promotion or whatever they care to do to improve their business, right?
Business decisions clearly have to be made.
Yep.
And that would be, you only have so much money. There's only so much time.
Exactly.
Right.
But this, that's the contrast of it. This one person sees it one way and then, you take a step back from a business owner perspective, you're like, this is great,
Yeah.
right? So many more people now. And think about the lasting effect of that, right? Maybe to the point with the Pizza Royale, people that hadn't normally gone to these establishments, maybe ordered that pizza, whatever, now they're introduced to a different clientele. There was 40,000 people that came here and
From
that
all over.
How do you
Everywhere.
know how many times they're going to come back? Like they may have just fell in love with, Coral and Cash or Wallflower Mercantile or whatever, any one of the stores.
It's the cleanest town. It has the coolest little pond.
Yeah.
You totally have to go.
And now they come back, tell their friends, and boom.
100%.
Like, okay, and I get it. Like maybe that's not the same person that's complaining about Main Street being closed down for one day is the same person that's going to complain about, well, so many tourists are coming to our town and like it's always busy now. But like, you have to remember, if you're not shopping there, if you're a local and you've been here for 30 years and you're complaining about all this BS and you're still not shopping downtown,
shame on you.
Then you're part of the problem.
100%.
You are part of the problem.
So you just want a bitch. Right.
That's what it comes down to.
Because you're not going to do nothing about it.
Too.
Right. So these, why are there no retail establishments on Main Street? Why is it all office service-based businesses? Well, because if we had traffic like that all the time, then it could be all bars and restaurants because we would keep them filled and busy all the time.
They need to make money.
And then we would be in a better position we don't have to wait an hour and a half on a Saturday night to get a table somewhere because now we have a vibrant downtown that can support the costs for restaurants to be down there in mass, right?
That just blows my mind. Like this whole studio that we're in wouldn't exist if it wasn't for people like us that were like, hey, we want to go do something. Like, want to make a podcast. If we don't pay and everybody says the same thing, like, they're not going to be in business. It's just it's the craziest thing.
Like, I can't say I take the role of disinterested observer when these conversations occur because I literally get out my popcorn. I'm an interested observer, but
you're like the Michael Jackson popcorn.
100% on top of like getting in there and being dad sometimes and telling people to cut it out and stop being mean to each other. But do
you do the Full House cut it out? Cut it out.
I totally should. That's a new one. This is the only way this is going to work because now we're stuck in the middle. Think about it. So either we put a halt to it, which is going to require tons of effort, tons of, activism. Like, and it's not like it's impossible because if you look at the Latson PUD and what's going on in Genoa Township, that is a motivated group of local people who are working very hard to hold their respective government like accountable.
Mm-hmm.
This is kind of the same thing, right? And you can't, like, if you're mad, you should just, I don't want to say you should leave but if you're not going to get involved, it's not going to change. You and I both know that picture is, if we should just make that a time-lapse photo now. Because if they're complaining about that now.
It's going to go in the historic, vault.
Right? Because there's one coming right behind it here, right on its heels, that's going to be every bit as big.
Yeah, which I don't think a lot of people really know about.
It's amazing, even in that. So here's what I want.
Everything's kind of hush hush, and I will give that some credibility. Like if you don't seek the information,
it's not made readily available.
It's not like it's public out there. It's like, oh, hey, this development's coming. Like, and maybe that's for a reason. I don't know.
Maybe. Well, but my point was, one, there was a lot of discussion amongst the downtown Brighton residents in that thread about their love for the vibrancy and the new energy downtown.
Mm-hmm.
So that was good to see. So people
is like everybody complained about everything being shut down.
Right.
Can't get any businesses. This is the worst thing ever. Oh my gosh. How could you do this to all the businesses downtown?
And now look,
right? It's like, thank God.
Yeah.
Right. That we
muscled
our way through that.
Exactly.
Right. Like, so the grass is always greener. Right. There's always a silver lining with it. And I think if we can just really take a step back and just all understand, like, none of that downtown happens without business owners, entrepreneurs taking a risk. Like, you need to go shop down there. Like, that bookstore, Two Dandelions, would not be there. They'd not be expanding unless the city showed up and bought books.
And it looks amazing.
Right?
It really
Like,
does.
That's a prime example of, like, okay, we're here.
Yep.
Right? We're buying,
Fully here.
this is it.
Yeah.
You know, and there's been so many other businesses. Now, it's got to be the right store, right? Like,
Sure.
there's certain stores that probably won't make it. You know, that I know that are down there right now that I'm like, okay, I'm praying for you.
I'm rooting for you.
I'm rooting for you, but like, I probably see the
Writing on
end
the wall.
result.
Yeah.
You know, on that. So
Sure.
that's just, I think that's the reality of any business though.
But to me, like, give me the shot. And if my downtown has traffic, you're giving me a shot.
Mm-hmm.
And if I can't make it happen because for one reason or another that I get the traffic, but I can't get a conversion, well, that's on me, right? And I would rather, as someone who has sat at retail and done $100 in the morning and $100 in the afternoon, is not a lot of fun.
Mm-mm. I mean,
The day goes by
that
really
literally
slow.
pays like your employee's wage.
If that.
Yeah.
Right. So it makes the day go slow. It makes morale bad. It makes, why would I want to work here? I'm not going to tell my friends to come visit this shop because nobody shows up. Like, there's just so many reasons why.
I've ran the numbers, and so we were looking at a space, downtown.
Yeah.
And on the real estate side, the margins are a lot bigger, right, than a normal retail store. Like, when you really think about it, we don't have cost of goods.
Sure.
You know, in real estate.
Right.
And service-based business, I'll give it like financial planning, insurance, real estate, okay, mortgages.
Everything on
like,
Main Street.
Everything on Main Street, right? And there's a reason why those businesses are there, because they can support the
Cost.
the rent and the cost of the lease, as opposed to brick and mortar retail.
Just got to put all their money into stuff to sell.
When you look at the margins on some of the stuff, I mean, it's some of the restaurants are working off of less than like 5% margin.
Crazy.
Right, profit margin. The businesses, and this is some that people that don't run businesses don't know about this. And I'm not like shaming anybody, but this is just the reality.
Helpful to know,
right? When you run a cost of goods business, when you have products, toys, food, whatever, like, more than half of your cost is going out to pay vendors.
Yeah.
Right. You might make 5-10%, right, on some of these products. Like, you got to sell a lot of widgets.
I'm aware, man. I live this all the time, right?
I know. You were in the promotional items.
My invoice was sufficiently small that I knew I had to sell a lot of things frequently in order to be successful.
So put that in.
But I too didn't have a retail. Like, I can't even imagine. It's like covering your mortgage.
Yeah.
I mean that's legitimately.
Just look at $100 ticket. Right. Say you go into an establishment and you spend $100.
Maybe.
Right. Let's just say that
$8,
55 to 60% of that is going to cost of goods.
Yeah.
All right. So now you're working off of $40. By the time you pay your employees your wages, you might have like 2 to 3% left over.
Yeah.
All right. That's profit.
Yeah.
All right. So it takes a lot of sales to build a nest egg to keep things going.
So please go downtown and shop it's holiday season is upon us. If you're not in the woods hunting for deer right now, then what's holding you back? And if your person that should be with you is off hunting for things in the woods, then you should be shopping. I mean, that's, what else are you going to do?
Did you hear about these, what's it called? They're snakes or pythons in Florida that are eating deer?
No.
Yeah. Like I saw it on the news the other day. It's like they're freaking out.
One more reason not to live in Florida.
Because now the snake's jaws have morphed into like actually eating this large deer. And they noticed this like massive increase in snakes, and it was mind blowing.
One more sign that the world is getting increasingly more weird on a daily basis.
They said raccoons.
That makes sense, but a deer?
What was the other species that was down by 99%?
Oh.
And like one of them was like, we don't even see these type of
How
animals
come the
here anymore.
boas don't like the alligators? Like that would
They
boa
were
be
eat- they were-
alligator?
no,
Good.
they
That
were
would
eating-
be, that is social
They were
media
eating
gold.
alligators too.
YouTube, let's go. I want to see boa versus alligator. Let's
Yeah.
go.
Uh,
That is like, I'll get the popcorn out for
Yeah,
boa
get the
versus
popcorn out.
alligator.
Yeah, no, I don't know why we got on Florida, but
Well, we were talking about
see
people-
those here in
People
Michigan.
in the woods here
Yeah.
in Michigan who
You
like
said
to
deer,
go.
and I just reminded me of this deer that I saw getting eaten by a freaking python.
Leave us alone. We're going into the woods. We just want to touch on this really quick. Hunting is kind of going by the wayside for maybe not necessarily our generation, but like my kids, nobody would even think to go out in the woods with a gun
No,
or a bow to hunt or even fish, really. And so it's kind of a bummer because it's very, very core to Michigan's tourism that, you know, deer season has an economic stimulus number attached to it and it's plummeting. And deer permit registration fees are what pay a lot of the DNR's HR salaries.
yeah. Well, they want, like, the deer population is growing. They're like, get out, like, go,
Please,
please.
right?
Like,
So
you can now bow hunt from your deck. Please go
it's,
take care of that.
And you know, one of the realities of living here is animal movement. I mean, we won't kid ourselves. Like, it'd be interesting to see what the deer strike statistics are for Livingston County because we are developing, we are pushing animals around in ways that make them have to find new homes.
Mm-hmm.
And we're already rural, bro. So like there was already so many. When my son Ryan was young, he went to Howell schools. So we would have to drive like down Chilson Road to take him to school. And he legitimately, when I would take him, every morning he would go, morning chickens, morning cows. Because we would see every one of those animals on our trip to school every morning. So when people oftentimes, even now, when they're like, Brighton's very city now. And I said, I'm 2 turns from a cornfield. Like, sure.
Yeah.
By comparison, yeah. But still, no. You want to see a horse? I can see a horse in 2 seconds. You want to see chicken? Yeah. There's on the page people talking about the pig that everybody gets to see on their way going out to 96 from Main Street. So, like, come on, people, give me your break, right? We're not city.
No, I don't know. I struggle with that. You know,
we're the new Birmingham. Like, come on.
I get a different perspective, and I explain this to folks that are wanting to move here a lot more often, and they're asking a lot of the same questions, and they have similar interests of like, hey, we're living here, and the things that we like about it are X, Y, and Z, and the things we don't like about it are A, B, C. And we're looking at Brighton, we're looking at Livingston County as a whole because of these reasons, right? We want to get away from being so close to everybody, right? And I'm like, well, here's the reality of it. You can and you can't. You know, there's a trade-off. If you want to be in a downtown area, and this goes for any area, right? Whether it's a small town or not, right? It's just a fact that when they built houses near downtown areas, they built them closer together, right? They're city lots.
It's the whole point.
Right? So you can't really have your cake and eat it too. You want to be close to downtown, you're going to have to put up with neighbors. You want to be within a 5 to 10 minute drive of a downtown area. Okay, now you're going to start opening up your options.
World's
right?
your oyster now.
You can go into a subdivision. Maybe you got a half acre or 3/4 of an acre.
Which is very common here.
Yeah, which is super common. So you kind of go on this evolution of like, yes, you can have that here, but what you're really moving here for is what I hear is I'm moving here for more of the community, right? Moving here for the development, the community, and yes, everybody wants their property to appreciate, right? If we don't have growth, are they really going to appreciate, right?
Generally speaking,
I know some towns up north, right? And this is like, everyone's like, well, that's not the case. Appreciation goes up every single year. Like, yeah, it does. I get it. But do you think the town outside of like Greenbush, right? Like just north of Escoda, do you think those property values are going up as high as, say, an Ann Arbor property or a Brighton property?
Not, absolutely not. There's no way to even make that be true.
Right. So you can go get a slower pace of life. Pick anywhere north of the Zilwaukee Bridge.
Oh, yeah.
In Michigan. You want to go to a small town?
You have your
Great.
pick.
Pick of the litter.
And they're all great in many ways, right? Yeah. But we were where people who used to have to make that choice would come to. But that was when I moved here, right?
Sure. I totally get both sides.
And that's where people have lost track of the fact that like we're not that anymore. We're just not.
No.
Because I could have paid through the nose for a much smaller home with no basement in Novi. Or for roughly the same money, I got a house 2.5 times as big on a walkout basement with a pond in my backyard in Howell.
Mm-hmm.
And if you think that's going to replicate itself here again, you're mistaken. But that doesn't mean that if you're not willing to sort of look to the peripheries, because that's what I had to do. That's what a lot of people had to do before this era of affordable like money made it so that you could pretty much buy anything you wanted anytime you wanted.
Mm-hmm.
And then that dried up and everybody was like, oh, this sucks. Right? Well, over time, those things just have a way of ebbing and flowing. But our community will never be the get a $250,000 starter house. There's like a handful of those, really.
No, and even those are like far and few in between. I was actually just at a birthday party with one of our friends, and he is living on Cassane, which is off of Grand River, kind of close to downtown. They can walk to downtown. And he was like, dude, there's a house that just went up for sale. There's no basement. There's like a 1-car garage, and there's only a couple pockets of neighborhoods in the Brighton area that like 200,000 to 300,000 is really prevalent. And this is one of them. And he goes, a house just went up down the road. It's a 2-bedroom, 874 square feet. And I think they're listing it at like 210.
Oh, geez.
210. Right.
Here we go.
And I was like, oh, that makes sense.
Yep. And cost per square foot.
I just sold a home on Marlowe, which is off the Lee Road, off of Lee Road in that subdivision behind the car wash. That's another one of those areas, right, where you're going to find houses that are 1,100 square feet, 1,200 square feet, maybe no garage, no basement. Some of them do have basements. But that one, when I sold, completely remodeled, no basement, no garage, 272,000, 1,100 square feet, 3 bedrooms, 2 bath, 3 bedrooms, 1 bath.
That's 300.
Yeah. Backyard was awesome.
300 a square foot? Pretty close.
Yeah, pretty close.
That's the bar. The bar keeps getting pushed up.
270, something like that.
But still, I mean, okay, there you have it. Like, that's 37 minutes of us. Like, I'm sorry the downtown looks different. The picture looks cool. That's our opinion. Keep that picture, because to your point, like, that's going to be one that we'll keep and then compare to like 5 months from now and then a year from now. And I saw the art the show we did about art in town. Discourse is fun.
Mm-hmm.
Discourse is fun. There's never a shortage of things to talk about.
No.
Because people,
so many things happening around here.
Discourse is fun, people. Like, if you can't enjoy it,
you guys keep us entertained like, on the show.
If you can't at least keep some sense of humor about this entire thing, this is going to get way uglier.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it's going to get...
It's only ugly if you let it get that way. Like,
our first chance, we invite you all to the... no, it's going to be too late. The December Brighton City Planning Meeting is probably going to be the first week of December. And if you're mad, Ken wants you to come see him.
Who knows? We might have another like event that closes down Main Street before then. They were talking about doing like a Christmas bazaar or extravaganza down there, shopping. I mean, Santa Claus always comes to town every single year.
Santa Claus has to come to town.
And that brings people down, but it's a good time.
Well, dude, that's 40. That's 40 in the books.
There we go. Thanks for watching.
Thanks for keeping us. Thanks to Oxford.
Yeah, shout out to them.
Shout out to Oxford.
They're doing some good things. If you don't know about Oxford Recovery Center, head over theoxfordrecovery.com. Check them out. If you have anybody that has any illnesses or anything, like the hyperbaric oxygen therapy,
go get a cup of coffee.
Oh yeah, did you go to a coffee meeting there?
I'm doing it this coming week.
Okay, cool.
Get your coffee at Oxford Center. Thanks to the team there. Thanks to you, dude.
Yeah,
it's always fun.
Awesome. That's a show.
That's it.
And if you're not subscribed to the channel, go ahead and subscribe. Tap the little bell so you're the first to learn. And we will see you on episode 41 next week.